Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
I was about to be like, hey,
Hey,
I know. I'm sorry. It's just a force of habit, but we can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
We get in big trouble.
YouTube doesn't like when we say cuss words in the first minute of the video. They not only do they demonetize it a lot of the times, which
But they won't
not a
show
huge
you the
deal.
video in
They-
the algorithm.
Yeah, they suppress the videos too when they don't like what's going on in the first minute of the video.
And it sucks big D's.
Yeah,
So,
big D's.
Because of that suppression, we're making some big changes, you guys.
Big changes, as you could see from the set.
Yes.
There's going to be a whole rebranding coming soon, 2020,
Yes.
baby. Tune in for it. We're here for it. We're living for it.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you guys so much for tuning in all of 2018. We love you guys so much. We've had a great fun year. We're
been so
really
fun.
excited.
Yes, and because love it so much, there's the big changes that we keep talking about, and there's going to be more of that coming your way. But because there's going to be more of that, another big rebranding that's happening is this face right here. It's going to be lessened on this channel.
No.
Yeah. No, but it's all in good spirit because it's going to be for the person you guys all love. You guys all love Taika, and I'm going to
Who?
do this. Taika.
That one, the
You
little
remember the one that you want to...
Yeah.
Oh, the crotch goblin.
The little crotch goblin. No, yeah.
That guy. Remember that guy?
Vermin.
Yeah, that guy. So because there's
sucking all of your energy.
Parasite.
he is, but he's giving me so much life.
Yeah.
And that's something that I always wanted. That sounded so corny. It was so not Geo, but I swear to God, that's
No,
coming
I like it.
from my
I
heart.
like that you want to be a mom. I love that.
Yes, and I've always said that. You guys have always heard me talk about just wanting a mom hard. So I finally get to do that. But the beautiful thing about that is I get to mom hard while these ladies are going to continue to lady freaking hard.
Lady hard.
Lady damn hard.
D hard.
Okay.
I don't know where this is going, but yeah, I'll definitely drop in from time to time. So I'm not completely 100%
Yeah.
disappearing, but you'll see less of me.
Yeah, but we're going to have way more stuff for you guys. It's going to be really cool. You're going to want to watch. Tune in to see the rest of the changes.
We can't tell you yet,
We can't tell you yet.
But it's big.
but it's big.
It's very
it's
big.
huge. I can barely take it,
And it's
but I'm gonna take it.
sexy. Can I say sexy?
So you guys, please enjoy this episode.
Whatever this episode is about, I hope you like it.
Hello, welcome back to
Hi.
Hey Bee.
Fuck it. Hey, bitch. Fuck it.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
no,
Whoa,
Videos, not videos, monetization.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitches.
Hey, and I do mean bitch.
Yeah.
We are back for another episode, and today we wanted to talk about just like toxic relationships, breakups, whether that be a romantic breakup or a friendship breakup, but why we decided to cut those people out of our lives, and just like in general, I think a state of maturing as a person is you learn like what you no longer stand for anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's some shit that you don't have time for anymore with other people?
Oh my gosh, so much.
People who whine a lot. Only I can be the person that whines in a relationship. All right, there can't be two of us.
True.
I briefly dated a dude where every time he got mad, he went,
Ooh.
bro. Like,
Oh.
it got to the point.
That's why it was brief.
Yeah, it was very brief.
I already
It got-
feel my eye twitching just
Right?
thinking about it.
It got to the point where, like, towards the end when he did that, I'm like, do you have asthma? Do you need to go outside? You can't fucking breathe? What's wrong with you?
Gina, you're scary as fuck. I know.
Now I know how to get under your skin. I'm just gonna be like,
Right? Oh my God.
Like a teenager.
Yeah.
That's
Because
tough.
it's like, it's all about communication, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that's not communication.
No.
Tell me what's wrong.
Passive aggressive. And
Yeah.
the best part is when after they'd go, you're like, what's wrong? And they're like, nothing.
Nothing.
I
Yeah.
hate that shit. Oh my God.
Bitch, I will fucking kill you.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I like people where you never have to guess. That's how I like to be, is like, I just tell you exactly how I feel at that moment I'm feeling it. Otherwise, shit like festers. And then that little sigh, it becomes like the loudest fucking noise you've ever heard. Like fills the room.
I think that's the one thing that I learned the most with like breakups is that communication is such a big thing for me, because I remember when I was younger, I was always worried like, oh my God, is he mad? Should we talk about this? Oh my God, I shouldn't bring it up. No, I'm gonna keep it to myself. Oh my God, why does he sound mad today? You know,
it's
like
so stressful.
It
It
is.
is very stressful.
And like the more relationships I go through, the older I get, and I'm just like, I think, you know, the other party matures with age too.
True.
So communication becomes easier. And then now it's just like Nikki and whatever, like whenever there's something wrong, I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know there's this.
Yeah.
And then you were just like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah.
And then that's
I
it.
love that.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
And I like that about our group. We do that a lot.
Same.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've actually, because of our group and being like around such mature people, that's actually taught me to like approach situations the same way, because I've always been terrified of confrontation. Like growing up, I'm just I swallow. That's how I'm into deep tiff, because
Yeah.
like I never actually speak my mind or like go for what I feel is right for myself, or even acknowledge what I want. And I'm just like, oh, is that
Like,
a
is this
people
okay?
pleaser?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a people pleaser, like just like, oh, I don't want to like
You put other people's
disturb-
needs before yours.
Exactly. Or like if someone else is in a bad mood, I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what I did, but I'm going to do everything
Like
I
you
can.
take everything personally when
Yeah.
it's like that person's anger, whatever they're going through, like that's not even really your thing. Like that's not
Exactly.
about you. If they're angry or
Yeah.
if they're dealing with some shit, like that's their problem. But
Exactly.
you're personifying their issues.
Yeah,
well,
we
you're-
had a.
Oh, sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
well, I remember there was a time where Tiff and I were talking about something where like somebody had like hurt her feelings or done something, and as soon as she told me the situation, I was like, that has nothing to do with you. I was like, it literally has nothing to do with you. And kind of the way that I see it is like sometimes when something happens with somebody and it like I almost see it as like bullets that come at you, but they're more so words. And sometimes you have to go straight up like Neo in the Matrix. You
Yeah.
gotta stop them, and you have to look at all angles and be like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, that was
Is-
really helpful. That talk that we
Yeah.
had, it was in Vegas, and that was the first time Boza and I really like bonded. Like we cried our eyes out that night.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
beautiful.
was it in the hotel room when we all had wine?
that
Yeah.
was part of it
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
but
it was the same
Oh yeah,
night.
that's
Yeah.
right. You guys went out for a walk.
Some of it was
Yeah.
like we were eating pizza in the fucking.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that whole
Dude,
Vegas
that
weekend was
whole-
therapeutic for me, because I learned a lot from you guys, because you guys all give such great advice too. But yeah, like what you were saying, it's like you just have to learn how to create a shield for yourself, especially if you're someone like me that tends to like really like put that responsibility of the world on your shoulders, where it's like, is everyone happy? Like, is everyone good? Like a people pleaser. Like,
Yeah, it's
that's
also a mom thing though. You're like really good at, because you have to take care of a child, so you're
Yeah.
probably always like, do I have everything? Do I need everything? Did I do anything wrong?
is he
Like, did
happy? Is he happy
Yeah.
right now? Like that's like the most important thing. Are you happy?
But I also I noticed that you are such an intuitive person, so that's a really it's a really tough skill to build, to like be able to shield, because
Yeah.
you really like feel other people's energies. So even
Yeah.
if someone else is having a bad time and it has nothing to do with you, like you take that on, and sometimes it's hard to separate what's yours and what's theirs.
Yeah, that's so true.
But I've noticed a
Exactly.
huge transformation.
Yeah, she's
in
no
you.
longer into deep tiff.
Yeah.
She is. I
I'm
will
working
throw
on
that
it.
shit
Woman
out
right
of my
here.
life, tiff. That's
Oh,
I
what
will
yeah.
fucking kill you, Tiff.
Have you seen her Instagram photos? Like, oh my god, dude, that's a new tip. I like it.
You
a
better
lot.
take all
Aw,
their
I
clothes
love
off,
you
because it's
guys.
freaking hot over there.
you guys are so sweet.
Take off your jackets.
No, but yeah, it has been a very like I definitely have felt myself grow a lot, especially this year, because I have removed a lot of toxicity in my life, and it's been so liberating. Like I can breathe now. Like it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys had any like situations in the past year or so where you had to choose to cut somebody out of your life? And like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
Yep.
what happened, like, led up to it, or like in the past couple of years?
Well, I mean, like mine with the breakup, like so I don't want to say that our relationship was toxic, but it wasn't positive and it wasn't helping my life. And I was in it for so long, so I felt invested, and I kept. So Shannon Boodram has this thing that where she talks about like putting money into like a gambling machine or something. I'm probably butchering it, but she's like, you sat at the machine so long, like putting
Yeah.
coins in, you just want to hit the jackpot, right?
That's
so
so
you
true.
keep putting coins in. So I was doing that for like 5 years with my relationship, and so I had to make the choice to leave, and it actually turned out to be a great choice for both of us.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're so scared because you're like, oh, we invested so much, and like things are like we're supposed to work it, we're supposed to make it work or whatever, but then when you realize you cut someone out, it's just like, oh my God, I really, really needed that. And honestly, I lost not only my mom this year and my relationship, but I also lost a really close friend this year too. So I've lost like 3 people in the span of just 1 year. And like I would think that it would be like the worst year of my life, but actually it's been the best year of my life.
Yeah.
So-
Girl, I've seen
Honestly.
like just what you guys were saying about me. I'm like, nah, that's Jess.
Same.
Like,
I feel
Yeah.
so different from like 12 months ago. Like I was actually scrolling back and looking at some text messages that I was sending with this friend. like from like 12 months ago, and I was just like reading like kind of just the way that I used to speak, the way that I used to feel, like just my energy, everything was just so negative, and I was just always so like ugh. And now I just feel so light.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
you've been
things-
so positive.
Things don't
Yeah.
bother me anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
there's,
wish
like-
everyone knew, like, if you could just make a couple of changes and cut a few people out of your life, a lot can actually change
lot
for the
changes for
better.
you.
Yeah,
A
if
lot.
you're in like toxic relationships, friendships, environments, it can sometimes feel like you're under attack. And when your brain or your body feels like it's under attack, it fights back. And it's very stressful for you because you feel like you always have your fists up.
Yeah.
And it's like, when's the next battle? When's the next fight? You know, and like, I feel like I went through something kind of similar. My old roommate in Vegas, she was my best friend for 5 years. I still love her to death. But when I moved out to LA about 3 years ago, this is more of a thing of like friends that ended up being in two different places, mentally, like emotionally, financially, just life paths. And when I moved out to LA, she wasn't happy for me. And first it was, oh, I'm just joking. But then it turned into, you know, fans would comment on my Instagram and she would respond to a fan.
Oh.
There was one time where I had a photo in a bikini and a fan was like, said I looked great or something. And she responded to them and was like, I don't even know why she's in a bikini. She can't even swim. And I
And
was
this
like,
is your friend?
Where's
my
she live?
God.
Holy
She was-
shit.
government name?
I'm gonna go beat her ass.
no, she's like
wanna talk to
always
her.
Does
been
she
my
have
best
like
friend.
a mental like mental health
inferiority?
issues
You don't
where
say
you're
that shit.
where you're so
Jealous
like
as fuck.
empathetic to the point where you're like, it's okay. Like,
But I
that's
mean,
crazy.
she was literally my best friend. We were so similar.
Yeah.
Like we could talk on the phone for hours. There was like a warmth like with each other. We had like we were so similar. But she was so damaged, and I couldn't help her. And there's a point that I had to let go, and I had to realize like no matter what, like I can't hold myself back and my accomplishments just because I don't want her to be mad at me.
Right.
That's true.
And it was really tough. And so like we stopped talking about a year ago. And I mean I definitely miss her, but I don't miss like the pain and the arguments
Right.
and the stuff like that. And I had to do what's best for me.
How do you feel since you haven't spoken to her in a year?
Just a little more like neutral. Like we shared a lot of like love as friends. And I do miss that part of it, but it's not worth the toxicity. It's absolutely not worth it
That's
at all.
true.
And also the stress of loving someone so much that you can't help. She was in a really
Yeah.
bad relationship, a bad situation, like with her job. And I tried for 2 years to help, and I didn't know how to help. And so it's more so I had to lift that stress off of myself.
I
Yeah.
did that as well with a friend of mine. We were friends since kindergarten. Like literally are
Back in Mexico.
No, girl. I only lived in Mexico for 1 year when I was 15. I was born here.
Everyone always thinks Tiff was born and raised in Mexico.
Tiff is a U.S. citizen, okay, Gina?
Oh my God.
That Jacob party game was so
That
funny.
was hilarious.
Anyway, so but yeah, so this friend of mine, like I said, like since kindergarten we were inseparable. Like she was like my sister. It was insane. Like I grew up in her household. Like her family was my family. And slowly through the years, she just like she's a person of like extremity, like being on the
Extremes,
extreme
yeah.
end on each side of the spectrum. So like in high school and in college, like she was like wild, like party girl, like going, like sleeping with a lot of people, like just, you know, there'll be nights where we're like, we don't even know where she is, like wild.
Yeah.
And then like after that, like she went to the other end where she was like super Christian. Like I couldn't even play music in my car because she'd say that's the devil's music. Like it was
Oh, shit.
really, really, what's the word? Extreme. It was just like really extreme. So over the years, like we grew apart, and I've just tried to keep in touch with her here and there. And it's just really heartbreaking because she has never, like she stopped maturing and growing up at like freshman year of high school. Like that's like where her mind stopped. And not only that, but she actually does have like mental health issues to the point where she had to be like institutionalized for a little bit.
Wow.
And,
Did
Did she
like,
do a lot of
she's-
drugs?
Yeah, she did. And
There it is.
yeah.
Shit.
And like, and not just that, but like, and I like I said, I grew up with her family, but her family is insanely toxic. Like they have, like, there's people in her family that are drug addicts. There's other people that like just it's crazy.
She
so
didn't have much of an
Yeah.
opportunity to really be normal. It sounds
exactly,
like. Poor
she
thing.
really didn't.
Pobrecita.
Pobrecita, I know. And so like it breaks my heart every time I get in touch with her again, because I really feel like I've tried for so long, for so many years, to like be the friend that she needs, because she really doesn't have a lot of people in her life. But every time I'm with her, I feel like my life force is being sucked out of me. Like she's it's too much, where I kind of had to make a decision just recently, maybe like in the last year, 2 years, to tell, like, just to be like, listen, like I love you. I just can't have you in my life. It's just every time we meet is just too much. And it didn't really click for her, because till this day she'll call me like almost every other day and leave voicemails. And like she'll text me things, like I'm telling you, like she's stuck in high school, because she'll text me like, hey, I'm walking to my grandma's house, what are you doing? Like, I'm just bored, and like things like that, where I'm like,
You're like, I
never
have a life
respond?
and a husband and a son. I'm doing
Yeah.
shit. What do you mean?
And you're
never
going
respond?
to grandma's for cookies.
I stopped responding now. After like I spoke to her and I told her like, listen, I love you. I just don't feel like I'm the person for you, because I've tried to help her. Like, she's been in community college. She's 30 now, and she still has not received not even an associate's degree. Like it's, or like any sort of profession. And like, it's just really sad, because I'm like, I try to help her and like get her into like different things. Like when I was doing phlebotomy, I'm like, dude, you should do phlebotomy with me. And like, I don't know, like,
I went through an actual like very important breakup within the last year or two, and it was I think it's one of the if not the hardest one I've been through. Right, I was with someone who I swore was my soulmate. Like, this was my best friend. I wanted kids with him. Like, this was
Oh, yeah.
Cried on the podcast about this.
And I don't
person.
cry about bitches.
I
right?
mean,
I don't cry. Because we had split up, and then we tried again, and then this was I was still going through like a finding myself process and knowing what I want and what I'm worth. And when we got back together, I was like, okay, yeah, we can work on things and stuff, you know. But eventually I broke it off, because it was one of those, like, as much as I love you, why are we not taking it to the next level? Like, we know we love each other, but I want to move in together. I want to get married. I want to have kids. Like, I want to.
what?
Maybe.
You want to have what?
Maybe.
Crotch
what was
goblins?
that?
Crotch goblins? Maybe. That's a big maybe.
That's
still.
how we know that you
Okay.
loved him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
were willing to sacrifice that pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, and you know, I was kind of like, where are you going with this? 'Cause he was still pursuing his dreams, so it didn't seem viable, you know. And he was like, well, I wish you would wait a couple more years and stuff. And I'm like, I don't have that time. I want, if I were to have kids, I want healthy kids. I want to bring this to the next level. And I was like, what's your plan? Like, what do you want to do and stuff? And then if he were to give up his dreams for me, then I would have felt
yeah.
terrible too.
yeah,
you know?
he would have resented you too.
Exactly. So I like, this was probably the hardest decision of my life. And I told him, I was like, I love you. Like, you're my best friend. I might lose you because of this, but I need to do what's right for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't live on someone else's timeline as much as I love you so much, you know? So like, it broke his heart. It broke my heart, you know? But it's like Jess said, it wasn't meant to be, but it was meant to happen.
Yeah.
And I believe in multiple soulmates. Like, best friends are my soulmates too, you know?
Ooh, I believe in soul contracts. That's not this episode, but
What is a soul contract?
oh my god! So a soul
some death
contract
metal
is it's when you are like, you have someone in your life, but things aren't quite working out, but you don't know why you can't quite get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's because before you came back to Earth, you guys made a soul contract that they would help you with your mission and you would help them with their mission. And then after, like, when you do release that person, that means like you fulfilled each other's.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's cool.
Oh, I heard.
So
I heard that if you are, I can't transition this ad.
Oh, weddings, you know, like
There's another
Gina
form
wanted
of
a wedding.
soul
Are
contract.
you broke and in love? Did you know that a wedding planner? I'm not kidding, guys. A wedding planner costs about $5,000 to $10,000.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's
that's
just-
reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just for the
that's,
person.
that's reasonable.
I
I
know.
need that.
I'll have all
I
that.
did
I want
that.
to spend that on my honeymoon, and you want to spend that
That's
on your
true.
honeymoon too. So save money by planning your wedding with Zola. That's right, planning it with Zola. wedding planning is stressful, it's tiring.
Oh, it
It
is.
fucking is.
Dude,
It really is.
I'm not even married, and I know the whole time I'm gonna be like, does he still love me? While trying to send out these invites.
What are we?
You don't have time for all that.
Where do we
Mid
stand?
wedding. So what are we?
I wish we had this when I was planning my wedding because I couldn't afford a wedding planner and I had to do that shit myself and it was the most stressful shit I've ever gone through.
And Nikki is the most organized,
Mhm.
like schedule oriented. She loves
Yeah.
this shit. And just on top of your wedding day, it's really insane.
Imagine someone like Gina trying to plan.
Bro, I hired a wedding from a planner for my birthday.
yeah. Gina's birthday was a wedding.
Guys,
It was.
So Zola makes wedding planning easier, less stressful with wedding websites, registry invites, and a guest list manager in all place. That's right. When you send out that email, you're going to have a website like CarrieandRickyGetMarried.com.
That's so cute.
You get free wedding website designs. We have the I said we. That's how much I'm already on board. I'm like, save me some money, girl.
We are Zola now.
we are Zola.
Here's Zola.
They have the highest registry. They have the highest rated registry of all. Registry for gifts, experiences, honeymoon funds. You can add gifts from other stores. You can sync a registry that you already have, and then just you can have a wedding website, and people can just be like, oh, they want this. Here's my invite. They have beautiful, affordable invites online and paper, and they'll also help you collect the addresses, track the online RSVPs with their free guest list manager.
That's awesome because my wedding invite was a text. I texted everyone.
Oh,
This is true.
Yeah.
Make
my
it
gosh.
less
True.
stressful for your guests
I don't
when
think
you
I
have it in
even-
one place.
I don't think I even got a text. It was more like, hey, you going to the wedding? Yeah.
In Paris.
In Paris?
I know. I see. I should have had Zola.
Should have had Zola. Zola has helped 1 million couples get married, and they're gonna help you too, cause we broke and we don't want to pay for all this. J-Lo can't be taking all of our money. That was a wedding planner reference. Sign up at zola.com/BTCH today and get your free personalized paper sample. Then use code SAVE50 to get 50% off your
50?
Save the Dates. 50% off.
50?
Wow. That's right, girl. I told you broke, you in love? Zola. Zola.com/BTCH and promo code SAVE50.
Ooh.
Nice.
Happy wedding planning.
Yeah. Good luck.
Dude, wedding planning, man. I just got flashbacks.
Now, tell me more about them soul contracts.
Yeah.
Well, I actually read one time that your soulmate is, I think it's similar maybe to soul contracts. This concept is that your soulmate isn't necessarily the person you end up with, but it's the person that you meet. It could be the person you end up, but it's the person you have to meet to change yourself to get yourself ready for
Oh, so
whatever it
that's
is.
the soul those soul contracts.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
similar.
exactly what I went through with him. I felt like it, like he taught. So this is really weird. I'm gonna open up real hard right now. Okay.
Okay, do
Oh
it.
my God.
Ready,
Yeah.
prepare yourselves.
Let me see your butthole, Gina. Let
Yeah,
me see
hold on.
it.
Strap in.
All right, spread.
Okay.
So me mentally with the past abuse that I've been through when I was a kid, sex is completely a different thing for me. It is never emotional. I don't correlate sex with love or anything emotions, right? And I didn't realize that was weird until a few years ago, right? And I was like, oh, wait, because I always heard about making love in movies. Like my friend was like, oh, me and my boyfriend make love and it was so beautiful that I cried. I'm like, you guys are fucking weird. Like who cries during sex, right?
I relate to that.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was a thing, right? Until this one. And then when that happened, I cried afterwards. And I was like, oh my God, this is what love is. And it was beautiful. And then he sat there and he cried with me too. And it was the most incredible thing. And I was like, I think you're my soulmate, you know? So
That's major.
Yeah.
huge
That's really
for me.
major.
Like
Yeah.
I had no idea how to comprehend it.
Yeah.
Did he fix me or did he just show me something that was there that I didn't know
You knew
about?
that now
Yeah,
you
he
know you're
uncovered
capable
it.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I believe in multiple soulmates and he was one of them. He was meant to be there for me so I can learn about myself and know that I am capable of being completely, fully 100% in love with someone.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it was such a big thing for me. So to let that go was such a painful, event in my life. And I didn't know how to handle it. I was like, I don't want to feel guilty for wanting more for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, you know? So that was like a huge catalyst in my life. And it's taught me like, this is what I want in a relationship. This is what love is. And I grew from that. And now I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
that's
that's like the
awesome.
biggest thing that you can learn is like knowing, like through going what you hated or don't want, you can learn what you're looking for, and also through going through some things you did find out you liked, you can know what you're looking for. But I feel like, you know, if you're going to, everything's like a roadmap. Like if you're going to New York from Los Angeles, if you didn't know where you were going, if you didn't know you wanted to go to New York, you wouldn't know when you got there.
Yeah.
So at least knowing like, okay, New York, there's a Statue of Liberty, there's like Times Square, there's all these like landmarks. Okay, I know when I got there.
Yeah.
So with that breakup, I feel like it was a very, so do you guys feel like with breakups, it gets a little bit easier later on because you kind of learn how
Yeah.
to, right, how to deal with it? Because
Yeah.
when I was in my early 20s and I broke up, your girl went fucking wild, dude. Just like, I'm gonna fucking die alone now. But now it's more like I'm optimistic. I'm like, I learned this from this relationship. I'm sad that it ended, but now I know more.
I think
and
that's like
I
a
hope
big
it gets
part
better.
of like why we kind of grow, and the unfortunate side of when we see our friends don't grow and like we see them get stunted in their like teens or 20s or whatever, is that they're afraid to kind of like let go of things too, because there's so much growth in being able to let go of things. And a lot of people, they'll stay in the same town, they won't let go of their high school sweetheart, they don't do any of that stuff, and then they don't grow, and that's why we wind up like having to cut certain people out, because you see them stay stunted. So like it's hard and it sucks, but it's also very beautiful, and it's a part of life, and it's something that you can't avoid. You have to be able to let go of certain people in order to get better at understanding life and what you want out of life, and understand life just in general in a bigger picture of like how it should be.
Yeah.
So when you're stuck holding on to things, it's like you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not doing that other person any favors either. So
Yeah, and I feel like we generally tend to hold on to these things out of comfort.
Yeah.
It's scary
And
to let
habit.
them go.
Yeah.
And hope, because you really hope that
and
things
hope,
will change.
yeah.
And I think ultimately everybody wants to grow, and in order to grow, you have to go through periods of discomfort. It's
Yeah.
mandatory. And you know, we're so privileged to live out in a city like this in Los Angeles, in such a kind of cutthroat industry, because we're forced to grow. We've all been thrown into situations like that come very quickly, like every couple of months, that we suddenly have to deal with. Like there are fires in our lives. But when you're in your hometown, dating the same guy that you've been with for 6 years, with the same exact friends, hating the same family members, where is the discomfort? Where is the room for growth? Where is the will to change? You have to just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You'll grow. You'll find fucking badass ladies like these. Like it'll propel your life forward to experience that discomfort.
I know a lot of people ask, I'm going to switch the subject a little bit. A lot of people always message me like, how do you get over a breakup? Do you guys have any breakup tips or things that you do to get over a breakup?
I know I don't actually, I feel like because I've been only in one relationship since I was, like 25. So it's been a long time I've been dealing with just one person and then going through one breakup, but I didn't break up until I was like fully ready. So when you're fully ready and you fully know like
Right.
what to expect and like, like this is going to hurt, but whatever, blah, 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 but like I need to move on, then it's just so much easier. So like if you get broken up with and you're not ready for it and you're not like, I honestly wouldn't even know how to
Yeah,
deal with
So
that.
you
same,
don't like,
'cause
key cars or
No, I don't do anything.
I did destroy my own house. Like I feel like I'm just like self-destructive. Yeah, like he cheated on me and then I fucked up my own house.
but that's smart because then you can't get sued.
Yeah.
So you're
True,
smart.
true.
Oh my
That's
god, I
true.
did the same thing.
Right, I just went on like a fucking tornado spin and
Oh
just
my
like
God.
the mattress was on the other side of the room.
I want to witness that. I wish there was a
totally
camera in the room.
Oh my god, dude, my
'Cause you're
crazy
so
ass.
fucking cute, Nikki. Like, I
I know, just like with barrettes in my hair. Like. Steve says it's when I mosh, like he calls it moshing, that I just kick things and I mosh around the room.
That's fucking cute.
Okay, I don't know. I'll tell this story. I don't know if anyone else has one too, based off of what not to do after a breakup.
Oh God.
Bro, don't keep blowing up their phone.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we could definitely get some
Don't
things done.
stalk them.
Yeah.
I got stalked. That's fucking creepy.
I was gonna tell my crazy thing that I did, and like I feel like I've told so many stories about how fucking nuts I was at 18, but I was in pain.
Okay.
Okay.
We were young also. We all did dumb shit when we were young. I was
yeah,
young.
okay.
We were young.
I'm
So
still young, Gina. Shut
yeah,
up.
right? We're still young. I'm like 19.
this is it's so, I feel like it's so fucked up, but I'm sharing that don't do this. So I was 18 and a half and my boyfriend and I lived together, my very first apartment. I actually had another roommate, which was his best friend, but my boyfriend, he basically lived there, and eventually he was paying like a couple $100 rent just to help out. Well, we broke up, but we still lived together. So I moved back in with my parents and let the guys stay there for the last 2 months of the lease just to make sure everything was getting done. I would come by at the end of the month to pick up the utility payments and the rent. And I come in one day and I'd left my bed there at the house. And like, it was a nice fucking bed and mattress. And I fucking go into my old room and there's a whole box of condoms and like an open condom packet in the trash can next to the bed.
Oh god.
And for me, this was my bed, dog. Like, that's fucking disrespectful.
I would
And
riot.
yeah,
Were you gonna take the bed back? Or, like,
yes, I was gonna take the bed back. I let him sleep there.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
So you destroyed the bed.
no.
Set that shit on fire, dude.
I took a marker and I wrote on the wall, "Who are you?" ? In like permanent marker. Like, to the girl.
Yeah.
In case she fucking comes back.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was to the guy,
Yeah,
like,
like,
who are you? Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah, no, I wrote that on her because, dude, if
I
I
would have
came
wrote
to-
he has AIDS.
Yeah. But I don't know why I thought that was like the right thing to do, but that's what I
Yeah.
wrote.
Yeah.
But like, if I came to fuck a dude and I come in and on permanent marker, like in a woman's handwriting, it says, "Who are you?" I'd be like, I need to get the fuck out of
Should
here.
have written like, you can't leave now.
Yeah.
And then the
Welcome to the
woman's like,
AIDS
oh
club.
my God, what did I get into?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my crazy thing. And he was like, "Yo, she's fucking crazy." And I was like, "You fucked somebody in my bed. I don't want that back
That's
now."
actually not even that bad. Like
Wasn't
you're
even
you're
that
telling
bad.
the story, and I'm like,
okay.
I thought you
oh,
meant
no,
fucking
no.
in the bed. I was like,
I'm writing on the wall.
I might
Okay.
have written like, "You fucking bitch" or something. I don't know.
okay.
But I just remember that's what the
That's very
that's the
mild though for
centerpiece.
what you could have done
Yeah.
at that
Right.
age.
I was prepared for the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I took
okay.
a golf club
I
to a
thought you were
wall.
gonna say a gun.
a golf club to a wall?
Yeah, when I was 19,
Oh my
I found
God.
out my boyfriend at the time cheated on me like multiple times. And like the girl didn't know about me. I got connected with her because she was friends with or cousins with my friend and they were all talking about whatever. And he denied it. So I drove to his house. Like, look, I'm a happy bitch when I drive. I listen to music, I sing. This was a dead silent like hit squad going to
scary.
his
Wow.
house, dude.
Scary.
And like this was like LA to Orange County.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good hour.
Yeah. You started to spin.
Oh yeah. Oh man, yeah. So like I took a golf club to the wall and his mirror, and his friend called me up. He's like, "Gina, I just found out what happened. Please chill." But here's the thing. My craziness, I had a method to it because I knew I didn't want to get sued. So I didn't go for the crazy shit because he was a video editor and I could a wedding
Oh,
video
no.
editor. And I could have dumped all that footage into his fish tank if I wanted to.
Oh,
and his
shit.
laptop. And I
Oh,
thought about
shit.
it, but I was like,
Good for you.
Yeah.
I still maintain some morals.
That's other people that don't need, their wedding footage.
That's
like
true.
they don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
They don't
collateral
need to pay
damage.
for it. So you got a little bit.
Yeah, that's great, Gina. Good for you.
Yeah,
Just scare
good
him a little bit. Dude, one time Steve tried to break up with me, and this might be how you get a
Steve
man.
tried to break up with you.
tried.
Oh, yeah.
This is breaking news.
Even Bryce like moved in. Like what?
Fuck you, Steve. How dare you? First of all.
I
You haven't heard this
so
story?
Who are you?
Oh, shit. Okay.
I've never heard this story.
All right, this was right before our 1 year anniversary.
Oh my god!
Like
I
maybe
thought your
like a
relationship
month
was
before.
perfect from day one.
No, remember how I said like
The
our
first year was bad.
Oh, yeah,
like
and you
the
had to do the
worst?
arrow pulling?
Yeah, and that's like kind of what I want to get to
Okay,
too,
yeah.
because like
God.
I've talked about the arrows before, but some people haven't heard the story, and I feel like everyone has heard it. But I'll get there. Yeah, so he tried to break up with me,
The nerve.
and
For
I
what?
know
The nerve.
for being too perfect. I don't know. I don't understand.
For a cute little moshing,
Right? For making
for
him
being
too
adorable.
For
I don't
having the
know.
most perfect butt. I mean, like,
Incredibly soft breasts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jess complimented my breasts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but I'll
just-
talk about it later in the
Anyways.
third love ad. Anyway, get pumped for that. So, yeah, we had been fighting little fights, like almost like every little thing just like caused an argument. We're like, so we were in the garage and something, I don't even know how it got brought up. It's so stupid. We were arguing about like toothpaste because he always leaves the cap off the toothpaste and it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And then he got into an argument about like how I only brush my teeth once a day and you should brush it twice a day. And I was like, well, you don't floss. And then
oh my god!
so ridiculous. It was the dumbest shit. But we get back up to the apartment and he goes, I can't do this anymore.
Aw.
And I was like, what do you mean? Me neither. Like, I fucking hate this. And he was like, yeah, I need a break. And I was like, fucking leave then! And I just,
my God.
sorry, all you headphone users.
We peaked on that.
Yeah, and I just like flung everything off the coffee table and flipped it, and it shattered. I didn't mean to break the
Oh,
coffee
that's what
table.
you. That's
when I brought
that one.
the-
Okay.
yeah, that was that. And then I just ran into the bathroom and cried and like curled into a ball and was like putting all my walls up. No one's ever coming back in. And then he came in the bathroom and he hugged me and he was like, I will never leave you. So I think I scared the shit out of him.
That's so cute.
I
Yeah.
fucking love you too, man.
So then we did the arrows. Yeah, after
Like, who
that.
came up with the arrow concept? And then explain for the people who haven't heard.
Yeah, so dude, that's how I feel like fucking Steve is my soulmate because no one else could handle that shit. Like,
Yeah.
anytime I've had a boyfriend where like they've seen that final dark side where I'm like at my worst, you know, they're just like scared off and they
Yeah.
like run away. Obviously, like it's like a lot, you know, to have someone like flip a coffee table or whatever. But he came in and he just like hugged the shit out of me and then he just like made me feel like he has my back completely. And he's like, yo, we both want the same things, right? Like we both we both love each other. We both like have fun with each other. We have the same sense of humor. We have the best time. We're best friends. Like, why isn't it working? And we found that there were like little things like how your ex used to sigh, like,
He wasn't an ex. We were just seeing each other. He doesn't deserve that.
whoever the fuck that guy was, the fucking sire dude.
Fucker.
Fuck that sigh dude.
Bitch. I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
So little things had built up subconsciously and neither of us knew that they were really building up. We just had like little things here and there that we held on to that we didn't think were big enough deal to like bring up, which is why
Communicate.
Exactly, which is why I'm so big on just like immediately saying it now instead of like letting shit build up. But we found that like little things would trigger each other just because like we hadn't gotten the deeper shit out. And so we were hanging on to stuff from like a year ago. Plus we had both gotten together right after being dumped from our previous relationships, which were both really toxic.
You're carrying that
Yeah,
baggage.
and it was kind of like getting projected onto each other. So we one by one like thought about like something that we had been holding on to, like all the things that we ever didn't bring up, and we one by one like pulled imaginary arrows out of our body. So I'd be like, okay, this one time, you know, you compared me to your ex and you thought I was like her and I'm not like her and that really hurt me. And then he would be like, I'm really sorry I did that. I didn't mean it. And then we would break the arrow over our knee.
cute.
Yeah, and we would throw it away. And honestly, I don't remember any of those arrows anymore. I don't even remember what they were because it's like completely gone and relieved. And we haven't fought since. I mean, we've had like an argument here or there. Like we actually like to argue. We get like hot off of it, but not if it's like real. Not if it's like a real issue, you know. And we haven't like gotten into like a heated argument like that since, and we've been together 7 years. So I feel like if you can really talk through like that and then get over it, those people are meant to stay in your life and not get rid of it. Speaking of talking,
You know, sometimes you can't talk to the person themselves, but you can talk to a therapist.
A therapist with what? An app? Yes, an app called Talkspace. So Talkspace is an app where you can speak to an actual real trained therapist over like text message, or you can do voice message, or you can even video message them depending on your plan. Talkspace online therapy gives you a convenient and affordable way to improve your mental health, and it pairs you with more than 5,000 licensed therapists on your needs and preferences. So what you do is you go on there and you take a little quiz and you talk about what you want to work through, and then they'll match you with like 3 therapists and you can choose one. You can change your therapist anytime, and it gives you a month of anytime access for the price of 1 in-person therapy session. So it's like super affordable. And I like it because instead of waiting and like holding everything in just to meet someone for a month or once a week or so,
Yeah.
I can text them like at 4 a.m, like,
I
oh
love
my God,
that.
I'm going through something right now. And then they check their phone like maybe like twice a day, 5 days a week, and they respond to you immediately. So you have like,
Yeah, because sometimes by the time you make it to your in-office appointment, you don't feel those feelings anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, I have to recall like how I
Yeah,
felt when I was at
that's
my
true.
worst.
and even if you don't want to text, you can just voice messages. That's what I do at 4 a.m, like a 4-minute long voice message to my therapist. So it's clinically proven. In one academic study, Talkspace users reported a 50% drop in anxiety after 3 months, and 80% of participants in another study said Talkspace was as effective or more effective than in-person therapy. All your messages are encrypted, and it protects your information, and it's absolutely 100% confidential. I personally use this myself, and it's been a huge help. Shout out to Maria. I love you, my therapist. So, I mean, we all need help navigating life's ups and downs, whether it be relationships, friendships, personal stuff that you just can't talk about to anyone else. Talkspace offers the support you need at an affordable price. Our listeners can get $100 off their first month by using the code BTCH at Talkspace.com. Match with a therapist for a fraction of the price and traditional therapy at Talkspace.com, or download the app. So make sure you use the code BTCH and get $100 off your first month at
Wow, that's a
Talkspace.com.
big discount.
It's a big
Promo code
discount.
BTCH.
BTCH.
So going back to what you were saying, Gina, about how like when you're young, you just like do a lot of fucked up shit because you just don't know how to, you have all these emotions and you don't know how to handle them because you've never been through that situation before, so you don't know where to place them. I feel like everybody at one point in their life is going to encounter a toxic relationship, whether it be with a friendship or with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or even in business. Like I've had like just like really, I've learned like what I don't do business well with anymore. But they're all just like tools that you get to put in a bucket so that you can like use, so that you develop non-negotiables and like you learn, okay, this is what I will no longer stand for.
Yeah.
Like my ex used to gaslight me all the time. I didn't even fucking know that was a thing before, but he would like change what happened, like go back in time and like say that what happened didn't happen.
Makes you feel
And then
crazy.
made me feel crazy as shit. And he was so convincing too, where I was actually like, I have a pretty good memory, but like, I don't know, like I trust him and he's good and I will never do that shit again.
Yeah. I always tell myself when it comes to any like breakup with any relationship is I kind of look at the bright side and the big picture. And it's kind of far-fetched and kind of weird, but I always say, okay, so I'm going through this terrible breakup and my heart's broken. I'm so sad, but it's really beautiful that I get to live a life where I feel these emotions. The fact that I even get to live this long to feel these emotions.
I love that.
Because a lot of people don't have the luxury of going through this, you know? Some people die young and they don't get to feel love and heartbreak and stuff. So that's like my big picture. Like I'm glad that in this path in life, I get to feel these emotions. And if I think that this person was great now, imagine when I find the one. You know what I mean? So that's like
so positive, Gina. I love
tried.
that.
Thanks. So that's what I do, and that's like my healing process. Like it's a part of life. Like Jess said, this is a part of life that you have to go through, and it sucks, but it's actually beautiful at
You're
the
like
same time.
collecting a palette of emotions.
Yeah, that's true. I've never been broken up with, because like what we were talking about earlier.
Subtle brag.
No, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to say like I
Like, what is this like broken up with?
but listen, I have had
It's
my
like, oh, they left
I
you?
have had my heart broken.
Okay.
I have
Without
and-
being left.
Yeah,
Yes.
without being left. And so like that does get really rough. But then what gets me through that is by telling myself like, okay, well this is something I'm meant to go through, because like what we were talking about earlier, it's like, you know, through discomfort there's growth. And so that's what helps me be okay with it. And also, especially more recently and like maybe this year, I've also learned how to take responsibility for part of it too, because not everything is going to be one-sided, and that's kind of hard to see sometimes, because yes, people can be toxic, malicious, evil, whatever, but you also have to take responsibility in like what you like, your participation in that as well. So that has helped me grow and mature a lot recently, where I'm like, well, I did let that slide, and I didn't do my like, you know, like I didn't draw like the line in the sand and said like, listen, you're not gonna pass here, like hasta aquí. What Stacey says, like up to here is like where you're gonna stop, and like that's the responsibility that I have to take upon myself, and take care of myself, and also take care of the relationship, because not like I said, not everything is going to be one-sided. So I have learned to grow out of that like victim mentality, because I definitely have been a motherfucking victim my whole life. And I'm just recently I just got tired of it. I'm like, listen, I'm sick and tired of being a fucking victim. Like, what the fuck am I doing that's getting me to this place? And like, I need to take responsibility for it, you know? So that's helped a lot.
Yeah. And I like a lot of people say like after a breakup, it's like, oh, it's such a waste of my time, blah, blah, blah. And I don't like looking at it that way. If you learned from it, if you grew from it, if you find something that this is not what I'm going to deal with anymore, then it wasn't a waste of time. This was meant to happen and you've learned, and this is a growth for you.
Yeah. I even said that in my wedding vows, because like that, like growing up my whole life, and I think I'm even saying it verbatim. I think I'm even saying it verbatim, but like my whole life, I had always felt like moments that I really regretted. And I'm just like, fuck, I wish I could go back in time. This gets really dark, but I used to, when I was really little, I used to wish and pray that there was some sort of time machine that could go back in time and prevent my parents from meeting. Like, that's how fucking dark
so
I
that
got.
you wouldn't exist at all.
Yeah.
Aw, I would have just like gone back in time while she was pregnant and put her on a roller coaster or something. But whatever, it's fine.
Oh no! You want to shake baby Tiff?
I mean, she won't feel it.
Stupid. But yeah, like I used to really regret my life, like hardcore. And that's why, like during my wedding vows, like I remember that morning, like taking a shower and like thinking about like, why do I love this man? Like what, like, you know, why? Like, what is it? And it really, like, I realized, like, you know, everything I went through in my life, like, literally every bad thing that's happened to me, every good thing, like, it led me to that moment. And, like, I was really happy. And, I mean, I'm still pretty happy. But, like, yeah, so that really made me realize, like, you need to go through what the fuck you're going through, because it's going to get you where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking to
Amen.
my dad yesterday on the phone, and I was like, just kind of realizing, like, I was like, God, my life is so weird. Like, I'm living like in, you know, Los Angeles. I have like a podcast now. Like, I'm like kind of starting to like date very interesting people.
Oh, yeah, because you never planned to be like an on-camera person.
No, and
yeah,
Jess, what was
and
that?
you're
You
so
started
good.
Hey, we're not gonna get into
yeah.
it yet.
That's another video.
But
I
the
feel
point,
like you're embracing it
yes,
too.
but the point I was trying to make to my dad was, I was just like, can you like remember like when I was younger, like the shit that I was in? Like, I was in this kind of like shitty town dating these shitty guys. I remember after do you remember the guy I told you about that was cheating on me with the girl who's a drug addict or whatever? So before like that whole other story, there was a time where I, like, when I first found out he was cheating with that girl, where she called me. Somehow she got my number. She called me, and I could hear him talking in the background. So it was a voicemail from her phone with him there.
Oh, wow.
And so I was living 3 hours from him at the time, because I had just moved from my hometown to San Antonio. So I get that phone call, and I got in my car and I drove 3 hours
Whoa.
to go
I know
confront
that
him.
drive.
And it's like
Dead silent.
It's like,
silent.
can you imagine like me being just so wrapped up in so much bullshit?
Yeah.
And like caring so much about these toxic people. And then now fast forward like 10 years, and it's like I had to go through that to get to the emotional maturity that I'm at now, where like if the guy, say I'm dating someone now, and then I find out he's cheating, and I hear a voicemail of him talking blah 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 blah, oh yeah, I don't really love her, blah blah blah, it's fine, I would just like pick up the phone, just click end, and then I would never see him again, and that would be it. I would never fucking waste my time to drive 3 hours, you know. So it's like you have to go through these things to like not care anymore, because you're just like, oh, okay, I really see that I just really didn't need
I want
that.
to say that I would do the same, but I'm not sure yet.
Same.
I'm not sure.
I need to like, it would be, if I was invested in that person and I really loved them still and that happened, I think I would need to let out rage somehow, whether it's in my own apartment, to my own pillows.
I might scorch the earth, dude. Like, so I'm not sure yet. It's been a while.
Yeah. So let's scorched earth too.
Yeah.
I think you
know?
think that, but I think you've actually grown a lot more than you realize. So you would probably be like,
For the sake of whoever I'm going to date next, I hope so.
Yeah.
If they ever cheat
If
on
a
me.
girl that Steve was cheating on me with called me and I heard him in the background, I would fucking light it on fire.
Oh, I'd come over and help you.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
We're
maybe
all
because
there.
you haven't gone through that yet, right?
True,
So like,
yeah.
because I've gone through that now, I'm like, okay, well now I know he's worthless. He's not worth my time.
Exactly.
I don't
true.
like. He is literally
I don't
just
have
going to
that tool
suck
yet.
my time away.
I
Maybe,
think
like,
also
one
once
kneecap.
you have
With you, Gina.
a lot of people that when you've gone through a bunch of shitty people, whether it be like people you've dated or friends you've had to drop or like business partners and whatnot, and then you go through a bunch of shitty obstacles, all the small shit, it does not matter anymore.
Yeah.
There's more guys out there.
Yep.
There's more friends out there. And you know it because you get over it and then you go find almost that replacement. It sounds fucked up. But once you find that replacement like a few times, then you realize I don't have to put up with this.
Yeah.
There is no reason to fight for this. There's no reason to like put my thoughts into this, like this person. Like why the fuck?
And that's the most important
Yeah.
part is learning to love yourself enough to realize that you can do better, that you deserve better.
Exactly.
There is better out there. There's like nothing's the end of anything. Like there's so many people and so many
Yeah.
opportunities and so much life to live that you don't have to hold on to anything. Even like, if people think
that's
that
right.
this
Yeah.
is the last person that's
No.
ever going to make me feel this way. This is the last person I'm going to connect with this
Yeah.
much. It's like, no, it's not.
7 billion people out there, dude. You're gonna be fine.
There you have like whenever I feel like, and I don't even think I actively think about this. I think it's something passive actually, because you said that and it rings true. It's like whenever something bad happens, I'm like, okay, I just got to get through this because I have a lot of life to live. And through this bad thing, there's going to be 8 good things. So let's get through the bad thing. And move on. Like that's that's very much how I've been through things. And I think that when we have a lot of when you have a lot of hardships, do not be afraid. Embrace it because it's just making the rest of your life easier.
Yeah.
That's a
It'll be
good
dope.
point.
You know what's interesting too is I think that when you were saying like, oh, I've been through this experience and now that wouldn't affect me the same way anymore. I feel like I could say that about things that happen outside of like my inner circle. But I think like if anyone in my inner circle, because there's that like trust and like love that's been built there, I feel like that's the only time where it still would affect me.
No, I mean, I think it definitely still hurts, but it's like I'm not going to put the energy into it that I used to.
Yeah.
So like I'm going to cry, I'm going to whatever, I'll be sad for a few weeks, but it's like I'm not going to get in my car and drive 3 hours
Right.
True.
to be like, okay, how do I fix this or what went wrong?
you could
or
just
why
light
are
them
you
up on
cheating,
Twitter
or what's
instead.
going on?
Yeah.
Like
Style.
Yeah, exactly.
Jess is like, shit, I'll make a phone call, I'll return your call, and then you got a week after that, and then I'm not driving, I'm not putting up all
Yeah,
this
it's just
energy.
like I remember like being so just like ruminating constantly, like, oh my god, is he cheating, or he's gonna break up with me, or like what am I gonna do now, like and it's just like,
a lot of
why
headspace.
do I don't
Yeah.
have that energy anymore, and I don't need to.
What happened when you got there? I need to hear what happened when you drove those 3 hours.
I don't think I could find him. He was with her, and I didn't know where she lived, so I wound up going to his cousin's house and like waiting for him or something, and then confronted him later. But I didn't get what I wanted out of it. I was like, where are you, motherfucker? And I couldn't find him for like
he
a
drove
while.
3 hours for nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to say I'm that mature person, but I'm taking at least one kneecap
I'm with
or
you,
like a
Gina.
collarbone.
I've
you
never
know?
actually physically hurt anybody, but I mean, some walls will
I
get
have.
some damage. I know, right? Some door.
Yeah.
What?
You have?
What happened?
No, you were like, I've never physically hurt anyone
Yeah,
before.
what
and I'm like,
happened?
I have. Which time?
Oh my god. Okay.
See, it depends on if the girl knew about it, Oh, actually, no. The one that am I allowed to say this? The one that cheated on me after, like, we tried to work it out, and I was still pissed. And he goes, "I know you want to hit me." I'm like, "Boy, you have no fucking idea."
Oh, not like that. No, I've just been in fights before. What, you thought I was just out here beating my mid?
I was like, "Dude, you have no idea." He goes, and this, like, keep in mind, this was 19-year-old immature Gina, and then like I was sitting on top of him in bed because we were just talking, and then he's like, "I know."
That's how you talk on top of it.
Yeah, I like straddle him. I mean, clothes on. Don't worry. Like I'm just sitting there talking with him. You never do that. You just hang out.
Yeah.
He's like, I know you wanna hit me right now. I'm like,
image.
bro, you have no idea. He goes, just do it. And I did. I socked him in the mouth, dude. I busted his lip open.
Open hand or closed hand?
Closed.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Now that I
Nice.
think about it, I'm like, that's not okay.
Oh, I'm like, nice.
I know.
Because that
know
feels
he-
good in that moment.
Well, it's consensual.
It was
That's
consensual,
true.
and it did feel good. But now I'm just like, I don't know if that was a good idea or not. But and then later on, he told people like, "Oh, I fell." I was like, "Oh my god, am I a man?"
Oh, he's a real bitch.
like. Well, I don't think I would do that now. I
You're
can't
right.
bring myself to do
Yeah.
that. But at the time, 19-year-old immature Gina, that was like in full rage.
Yeah.
That was.
You think that like putting pain on someone else is going to make you feel better, but really I think you just like you create more pain within yourself, and then you carry the fact that you
Yeah.
hurt someone physically, and it
Well,
just
I didn't carry that. I didn't give a fuck. But I'm probably not gonna do that again.
I know, because I'm sitting here like, I think I would love that.
Right?
Really?
Like, it was just like, oh, at the time it was just right, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, later on it just didn't work out at all, but that relationship taught me a lot, dude. A lot.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, never a waste of time.
True. So if you're going through a breakup right now, I think it's really healthy to have that perspective of like, what did I learn from this? So like write down like all the things that you liked from the relationship and then all the things that like you could fucking live without.
Yeah.
And then don't settle on that list of things that you could live without because for me, I felt like I was repeating the same pattern. Like I would constantly like get in relationships where I liked like they had a certain sense of humor and like we related on a deeper level, and then like they were just really shitty people. And I'm like, why do I keep falling in love with assholes? And it was because like I kept like settling on this one or two things that were really.
Oh, maybe that's not too bad. I can deal with that.
It's
You
like-
know,
but-
like that. Like you see
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like,
exactly, yeah.
No, I might be able to work with
Yeah,
that.
I might
And
be
at
able
the
to live
end,
that.
you can't.
And then people give you that speech that's like, well, you're always going to have to settle in some area. You know, they give you the like,
But then you don't really
relationships are
understand
work.
it,
And
yeah.
so, you're definitely going to have to settle here and there. But not on the things that you can do without.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like there's certain things that I just will not do in a relationship or I made the decision to never do in a relationship again. And then I
What's
didn't.
an example?
So like the no communication.
Yeah.
Like if I'm texting you, if you're like, I'm on my way over, and or if they're like, I'm on my way over, and then they don't show up, that's fucking not okay.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
That used to happen all the time, and I would just forgive it because I'm like, okay, well, that's like whatever, and like my
Yeah.
time's not important.
I don't want to get him mad by then he won't come over next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's like respect yourself,
Yeah,
respect
yeah.
your time, all that shit. And I think that does come with like a level of self-love and self-respect and like knowing like what you're worth and what you bring to the table, which when I was in my young 20s, I just really didn't know. I just really wanted whoever I liked to like me back. And so I would just bend over backwards and people please, and then I would be confused when they would screw me over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you're ever saying to yourself or to somebody else in a conversation the phrase, I don't want them to be mad at me, that basically says there's a thing that I don't want to do, but I know that this person will be upset if I don't do what they want, basically.
Yeah.
Like you clearly probably don't want to do it if
Yeah.
you're even saying that. And you need to look at that situation a little bit deeper. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to cancel things. It's okay to kind of, I have to do this at work all the time. I have to set people's expectations, you know? And it's all about putting those boundaries down for yourself. And how are you going to put those boundaries down if you don't know what you want?
Mm-hmm.
If you're just doing what everyone else wants to avoid conflict or to people please, then you don't get to understand yourself, and you don't understand what makes you happy and what makes you feel fulfilled and what makes you move through the
That's
day.
100.
Yeah.
I'd like to just fucking, I ditto that like crazy because that's been my whole life.
Yeah.
Like my entire life. I'm just like, I don't know what makes me happy.
Yeah, and
I don't
then-
know what I like.
And
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like we end up cutting out some of those toxic people that are holding those things over our head where we're afraid to make them mad, you know? And then we
Yeah.
get rid of those people, and then
You're like, I'm free.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you feel like these chains like off of you.
It really does feel like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone tries to talk to whoever the person is that's kind of like pulling these puppet strings for them. And when you get to a point when you realize like you've exhausted all of your options, snip, 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 you're done. Like you're done.
I learned a lot from I had older girlfriends who were my mentors when I was younger, and a lot of it also comes with age too.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was 25, I was going through relationship problems, and they were in their 30s already, and they were like, Gina, as you get older, you don't have time for that bullshit anymore. You lay your cards out. This is what I want. This is what I don't deal with. And if they're not about it, then that's it. And you just, mature people would be like, okay, yeah, I see that. This is what I want, what I don't want. And you figure that out, and you don't go through the whole like, oh, is this okay?
Yeah.
Is that
You
okay?
put it
kind
out
of
on
thing?
day one,
On
too.
day one,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I think that, and I think it coming with age also comes from experience.
Yep.
Like at 25, I've dealt with some shit, but at 35, in that 10-year span, I'm gonna lose people, I'm gonna find people, I'm gonna lose jobs, I'm gonna switch careers, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. And then at 35, I don't have time for your shit.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or the energy for it. And that's why sometimes you'll find people that are insanely mature at 22 because they've been through a lot. They don't like, you know, and then at 32, it's kind of like the same thing. Or sometimes you'll meet people at 30 that have been in their own bubble and they haven't grown.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
another big thing, like, because I get a lot of messages, and I'm sure we all do, from girls who are like, oh my God, I just found out my boyfriend was cheating on me, like, blah, blah, blah. My whole life is ruined. I'm depressed. Like, now I want to fucking die, like, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of want to address some of that a little bit before we go.
Fuck him, baby.
It's honestly like, once you realize that it has nothing to do with you and that your self-worth is not tied to what someone else does, it's going to get easier. So people are going to hurt you no matter what. Like, you can't avoid that. Like, maybe this guy did some really fucked up shit. He fucked your best friend in your bed. Like, like, there's going to be fucked up shit happening to all of us. So I just really want to put it out there. Like, people need to remember, like, whatever they do, it's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your value. It's really has nothing to do with you. So you
That's a
don't
good
need to sit
reminder.
there and ponder,
Yeah.
like, was I not good enough? Or like, what did
Yeah.
I do? What could I have done differently? Or like, why did he do this to me? Like, why me? Like, why me? It's like, it's
not you.
It's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder, because not only do you do that, but like kind of like that thing I mentioned in a previous episode where like as a child, you subconsciously, you don't know you're doing this, but like when they hear other people talk shit about their parent, like they're like, well, I came from this parent, so I must also be a bad person.
Yeah.
But like, so then when your boyfriend's cheating on you, you're like, well, I picked
You
him.
must deserve it. or
I,
something.
it's my fault that this happened to me, or like how, like, yeah, because you attach yourself like that.
Yeah.
So that's
But
a good
it's-
reminder
It's not
to
your
not-
fault when people hurt you.
Yeah.
So
And don't do the whole I'm going to kill myself. Your
Yeah,
life
don't
is not worth someone else's
Yeah,
decision.
what
so
the-
much,
True.
so
Don't ever.
much life to
No.
live.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter. Time will fix it. It
Yeah.
will.
And on the other hand, too, like on the other side, if you tell someone, if you break up with me, I'm going to kill myself.
Oh my
fuck
God.
you.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, you
That's
can't do what the
horrible.
fuck.
Don't
Yeah.
do
But
that.
if there's people in your life right now, like really take a look at your circle of people that you are in contact with on a daily basis. And if there's someone that like gives you that pit in your stomach when you think of them, maybe that's a toxic person that you need to cut out of your life. And sometimes it's
True.
hard if it's family. I
Oh,
understand
yeah.
that.
If it's family,
yeah.
especially in an Asian upbringing, it's always like, well, it is your family. Like, no. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you know how Asian upbringings are always like, well, it's your blood, they're
Yeah.
still your family at the end. Yeah, you're my family. I don't gotta be around you like
Yeah,
you're
you need to
having in my
act
life,
right.
though.
Yeah, Mexicans are like that too, and I
Yeah.
cut out a lot of my family.
And
'cause
they
I'm
make
like,
excuses and like dismiss a lot of things that terrible family members do just because that's your family. Like, no, if it's a toxic member of the family, you can cut them out too,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And you don't have to follow someone else's rules just because they say it's your family.
It's that thing again, because you're connected through blood, you feel like you have some sort of responsibility to keep
Nope.
them in your life.
It's
No,
your
you don't.
life. You can live it how
Exactly.
you want.
That's right. It's your life. All right. Thank you so much for watching and listening, guys. And if you have a story you'd like to share with us, we love reading your comments. So leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And subscribe. I said subscribe. I said subscribe.
Yeah,
So you
subscribe.
should subscribe.
Rate us 5 stars.
Also, shout out to our sponsors today. We have Talkspace. Make sure to use code BTCH to get $100 off your first month when you go to Talkspace.com. Promo code BTCH. And with Zola, if you're planning a wedding, holy balls, you need this service
Oh, yeah.
if you ain't loaded. Zola.com/BTCH. Today, you get a free personalized paper sample and use code SAVE50 to get 50% off your save the dates. Zola.com/BTCH.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.